Okay, let me know. I'm gonna try and get this started. I guess I should read and, do what it actually says.
You will arrive along the old road. It winds with a troubling, serpent-like suggestion through the corrupted countryside, leading only, I fear, to ever more tenebrous places. There is a sickness in the ancient, pitted cobbles of the old road, and on its writhing path, you will face viciousness, violence, and perhaps other damnably transcendent terrors. So steel yourself, and remember there can be no bravery without madness. The old road will take you to hell, but in that gaping abyss, we will find our redemption.
So he narrated the hell out of that. I really like the narrator's voice. How's everyone doing? I'm back and having a go at this. Typically doing the Wasteland 2, but I wanted to try something a little different. See how it went. So this I know is early access, and I don't typically care for early access and that sort of thing, but it's really neat. It's really different, so I wanted to give it a go. I have tried it a bit, and all I did was mostly fill up the graveyard, which I'll explain in a minute. Anyway, so I'm gonna have a start.
Brigands have run up these lanes. Keep to the side path. The hamlet is just ahead.
Let me know if there's any problems with the sound. You're not hearing any sound? Hello, Dark Daedalus. Can you hear me? Because I'm getting words that there's no sound. Okay. Am I there now? Dark Daedalus says I'm there. So, hi. Okay. Is it... I... Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Okay. I shall get going. Now don't get confused. The really well-acted part, that's the narrator in the game. The sort of grumbly, tripping over my own voice, that'd be me. Okay. Just wanted to clear that up. Pause as screen. Hello. Actually, I feel like that most times when I play.
Dispatch this thug in brutal fashion, that all may hear of your arrival.
Okay, I will make it brutal. Now, typically, I chop out the corpses. There was a big thing about corpses and heart attacks. I don't know if you know all the stuff about the game, but I'll get into that after I'm done dispatching this in brutal fashion.
As the fiend falls, a faint hope blossoms.
Loot. Loot is good. So what I was blathering about earlier, they introduced a mechanic where the corpses stay on the battlefield. Lots of people complained. I don't like it, and I'm glad that they put the option in to turn it off. I haven't done that yet, just so you can see what they're like. But I don't care for it or the heart attack mechanism. But I'm really happy they gave us the option to turn it on and off. So, I mean, I pile up enough corpses in this game, so I don't need help doing that.
Leave nothing unchecked. There is much to be found in forgotten places.
Seriously. It's loot. I'm not leaving it behind.
Send these vermin a message. The rightful owner has returned, and their kind is no longer welcome.
Come on, lead them. Okay, let's try and stall him.
How quickly the tide turns.
If you get this game, get used to that. Now that's what you're looking for.
Prodigious size alone does not dissuade the sharpened blade.
Now this is the mechanic that I was talking about earlier, introduced, I don't know, a couple of patches back. But it leaves the corpse in the middle of the battlefield. Now typically what happened before is this guy would come forward and you would have a variety of skills with each class and you would have different options. It really just kind of drags the battles out from my perspective. Good. I'm glad. I think. Does that mean I have to buy you new speakers? So the tendency is it just drags out the battles from my perspective. But I wanted you to see it.
A hand's breadth from becoming unwound.
Welcome to Death's Door. Lots of your people will spend lots of time here. The only thing I've completely figured out is that it's a game of attrition. Alright?
Continue the onslaught. destroy them all.
Loot. Now, typically I leave in the couple of times I've played it, but in this case I'm just going to show you how the mechanic works. Since the other guy might die, we'll use him. And there you go. There's the joy. Everything that you get to open has the possibility of making sure that your adventure ends quickly. So... And now the bad news. We get to see... Oh, we have a cove-phobic, and... Which one is this one? A photomania? Okay. Oh, okay, yeah. Particularly if you're using USB speakers. Because it needs to know which device is your primary device. So Warren's phobe. And an infomania. Okay, so I know where he'll be spending his time. So, there you go. Heroes are developing problems for you already.
Welcome home, such as it is. This squalid hamlet, these corrupted lands, they are yours now, and you are bound to them.
I really like the narrator. So this just gives you the summary of pretty much everything that went wrong for you. Which, you know, seems to be a common theme. It's funny, even though you're constantly fighting things like that, you end up still having a whole hell of a lot of fun with it. Well, okay, I have. Yeah, actually, Dark Daedalus, that's a good way to sum it up. Like I said earlier, it does literally feel like it's a game of attrition. Everything is a resource, everything is grinding against a rock, you know.
Women and men, soldiers and outlaws, fools and corpses. All will find their way to us now that the road is clear.
So here we get to hire people. I guess basically the best advice I can give you, don't get too attached.
What better laboratory than the blood-soaked battlefield?
You can expand the things as well, depending on the resources you find. And as we go through, we'll see where we can find specific things. Some things have more of one type of thing than the other, which is kind of cool. And given it its early access, it's in remarkably good shape. I don't. Here, you guys find some wood. Haven't had a crash yet.
In time, you will know the tragic extent of my failings.
Yes, we will.
Most will end up here, covered in the poisoned earth, awaiting merciful oblivion.
They're actually not lying there. Alright, so typically there isn't much to do right at the beginning, so you don't have many resources, and most of the things you can't do anything with, so we go straight to the
A
core of
mecca
things.
of madness and morbidity. Your work begins.
So, that basically is setting up the order for as much good as it does. Like, truth be told, so many things happen to you in the battlefield that you end up usually getting your order moved around like crazy anyway, so basically here you get the various places. They just introduced the Cove recently, I'm assuming with the final release, which I think is in January sometime. This will finally be available and the end game would be in place. So typically they describe the level and approximately what you need to do to accomplish it. So in this case, we have to fight everything that's set up in the rooms to complete it. If you don't complete it, everybody kind of takes an emotional hit, and that is one of the key mechanics in the game. But we'll go into that as soon as we fill our stuff up.
The cost of preparedness, measured now in gold, later in blood.
Yeah, mostly for me, that's blood. So, a lot of the purpose of these things isn't immediately apparent. Things like torches, they're self-explanatory. Make sure you have them. Shovels for digging, seems like a good idea. Bandages, that makes sense. Each one of these things, food, yep, good plan. The anti-venom, the herbs, the keys, the holy water, things of this nature, they do have purposes. Oops, got those already. But they also have value beyond that, which we'll see in a sec. So I've overspent here, but if everyone likes it and want me to continue, maybe I'll continue this stream. Let's get into it. Do some damage to some psyches.
The fiends must be driven back. And what better place to begin than the seat of our noble line?
Yes. All right. So down here's the map. Gives you the look at things, the directions you want to go, stuff like that, right? Always handy to take a look at it. Of course, we're in, pretty much the crappiest place we could be in. So, left or right, left or right. Let's go that way. There's the first use.
Even the cold stone seems bent on preventing passage.
So here, we have a shovel, so we can dig it out. Now we don't have any more shovels. Unless we find one, we'll be using our hands. You can use the knife. Oh. And so it begins. Now I have played enough of this to know that this guy is a real pain in the ass. He's also undead, so you can't bleed him. So you need something to blight him with. And as I said, it's a game of attrition, so status effects are critical. Now these guys have meat on them, so we want them to bleed. Religion failed them. Now here's one of the things, and this is where the corpse thing, which I will shut off after this particular sortie. This is where the corpse thing comes in, because your healer in the back is not able to do much because they can't reach anything, right? So hey Heimdall, you're not gonna try and lurk today? So like I was saying, the addition of the corpses really can change how quickly you can get through a battle. Manners. I'm having bad manners, I apologize. Is it coming out the 19th? Is that the official release date? EKG is here. Hello. It's good to see you all. Is it the 19th? I thought it was the 25th. Or has GOG confirmed a release date? Like, now, since the healer can't do anything and we don't want her to sit there, we'll just let her heal somebody. Because just sitting there doing nothing aggravates them. That's stressing him out, by the way. EKG is in the house. Everyone have a heart attack. So, let's bleed the other one. Yeah, actually, Heimdall, it was you who were talking about this that got me thinking I should show it off a bit. So it's all your fault. However, if it's good and everyone likes it, then okay, that's fine. Now he's bleeding, you gotta decide. Yes, thank you. I know you can bandage him, but you gotta decide whether or not you want to hang on to your bandages for something more critical. The problem, in my opinion, the problem is that there's no way you can know this when you start. Alright? And you can get yourself into a financial hole in the game before you can before you know what you're doing.
The enemy crumbles.
Corpses. Nuisance.
By inches.
I still love the narrator.
Press this advantage. Give them no quarter.
So we picked up a shovel. So bonus. Yeah. Bandages are expensive. He's bleeding a lot, but we can heal him, and he's supposed to be tough, so let's leave it. Now, depending on... when you click on something like this, you'll get an option to use some of these things. Generally, you want to. They increase the chance of getting your loot. And, I mean, none of these are major spoilers, because you are kind of at the mercy of random Jesus here. So, any advantage you can get, take. I'm not used to getting positive effects from book racks.